Usually when we think about creating a beautiful, comforting, home-cooked meal, there is this expectation of pure magic. Like you
Yeah.
just throw some ingredients into a pot, stir it around, and somehow a delicious masterpiece appears.
Right, yeah. A dash of this, a pinch of that. From the outside, it looks completely effortless.
But anyone who actually manages a kitchen knows it is entirely about preparation and structure. I mean, you need the exact right tools, the correct temperatures, and a very specific sequence of steps. If you skip just one fundamental step, the whole thing falls apart.
It really does. And, stepping into a new language is the exact same process. You cannot just throw random vocabulary words into a sentence and hope it tastes good to the listener.
Exactly. You need the grammar to hold it all together, add the pronunciation to give it the right flavor. Welcome to today's deep dive, ladies. I am Professor Reichel.
And I am Professor Paolo.
Today is April 17th, 2026, and we are diving deep into the latest class notes for Group T262. Specifically, we are reviewing the material from March 9, 2026.
That's right. And you are part of the Amazing English Conversations course right here at the A2 CEFRL level.
We are so incredibly proud of the work you're all doing at AcademiaBSB Cursos Inteligentes. I mean, our original methodology and our online platform are designed specifically for you.
Absolutely. For adult women studying remotely from home, balancing your families, your careers, your entire life, yet you still show up every single day for your education.
It is truly inspiring to see, and we have a fantastic packed agenda for you today. We are going on a journey that starts right in the heart of your home, the kitchen.
We're going to map out essential household vocabulary, tackle the physical mechanics behind some very tricky pronunciation, and dive into the grammar rules you need to ask questions.
Yeah, and we'll finish with a mouth-watering writing exercise, plus some gamification rewards. So, let's unpack this. We are starting with our current class vocabulary.
Right.
I want you to imagine you are standing right in the middle of your kitchen right now. Look around. Let's map out the physical space and the items around you.
We're going to cover some essential descriptive words first. So we have near, far, short, long, dry, wet, soft, hard, heavy, and light.
Let's break those down conceptually. Like, if the stove is right next to you, it is near or close.
Yeah, and if the refrigerator is all the way across the room, it is far or distant.
Then look at the physical dimensions of things. Maybe you have a short glass for water, but a long wooden spoon for stirring.
And think about the states of your kitchen items. You have a dry towel hanging on the oven door, but a wet sponge in the sink.
Right. You might have soft butter sitting on the counter, but hard ice cubes in the freezer. Or maybe you are listing a heavy bag of flour compared to a very light napkin.
Perfect. Now let's look at the actual objects and ingredients you might interact with. We have the words pen, pan, bowl, plate, oatmeal, and wine.
So you might keep a pen on the counter to write down your grocery list, but when it is time to make breakfast, you need a pan to make your eggs.
Or perhaps a bowl, which is essentially a deep, rounded vessel to mix your morning oatmeal.
Oh, yum. And when dinner is ready, you serve it flat on a plate, maybe pouring yourself a nice glass of wine to relax.
You definitely deserve it. Now let's talk about the actions happening in that kitchen. We have the verbs laugh, forget, mix, to cook, to fry, to boil, and to bake.
Plus the noun recipe, which is an instruction. And for measuring, we have the numbers million, thousand, hundred.
Hopefully you laugh with your family while you prepare dinner, and you don't forget to turn off the stove.
That is so important. When you combine your ingredients, you mix them. But here is where it gets really interesting for us Brazilian learners. Look at the specific verbs for preparing food.
Right, because we have to cook, which is kind of the general umbrella term for preparing food with heat.
But then we have specific methods. To fry, to boil, and to bake. What is the real mechanical difference here?
Well, it all comes down to the medium you're using to transfer the heat. So to fry requires hot oil or fat. Think of frying a delicious omelet or a pancake in a pan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and to boil requires hot water bubbling at a very high temperature, which is exactly what you need to cook pasta.
Right. And to bake.
To bake means using the dry, enclosed heat of a hot oven, which is how you create a beautiful cake.
That distinction makes it so much easier to visualize.
Yeah.
Now, wait, I have to push back on one specific word here because I see our students fall into this trap all the time. The word recipe.
Ah, yes, the classic trap.
Yeah. In Portuguese, receita is a very flexible word. I mean, it can mean the instructions for a cake, or it can mean that piece of paper the doctor gives you at the clinic, or even the receipt the cashier prints out at the supermarket.
That is such a crucial cultural distinction. In English, a recipe is purely and only a cooking instruction.
Right.
It is the list of ingredients and the chronological steps to make a dish. It is not the receipt you get at the grocery store to prove you paid for those ingredients.
Exactly.
And it is definitely not a medical prescription from your doctor. Recipe is strictly for food.
And you might find a recipe that has 100 years of history, or a video with 1,000 or even 1,000,000 views.
Definitely.
So now we have mapped out the physical kitchen and the actions inside it, but what about the person holding the spatula? Are they patient? Are they impulsive and likely to burn the food?
Which brings us perfectly to the people in our lives, reviewing the vocabulary from our past class. We had some excellent matching exercises in the notes.
Yes. For medical terms, we looked at MRI, computer tomography, doctor, and hospital.
And for the farm, we had ranch, farmer, and duties. And then we had this massive detailed list of personality traits.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Let's actually walk through these personality traits by imagining someone you might work with or live with.
Great idea.
If someone always shows up on time and does what they promise, they are reliable. If they dream big and want to succeed, they are ambitious.
But what if things go wrong? Well, a patient person will stay calm. A supportive person will help you fix the problem.
And an honest person will tell you the absolute truth about what happened.
Exactly. And if your plans need to suddenly change, you want someone flexible to adapt.
Yeah, someone detail-oriented to catch any new errors, someone independent enough to work alone, and someone fiercely determined to finish the job.
On the flip side, we have more challenging traits. Someone who absolutely refuses to change their mind is stubborn.
Oh, that's tough to deal with. Though someone who gives their time and resources freely is generous.
And watch out for the emotional swings. Acting suddenly without thinking makes you impulsive. Having unpredictable, fast emotional changes makes you moody.
Then you have the workplace challenges. Feeling superior to everyone makes you arrogant. Hating to wait makes you impatient.
And telling everyone what to do constantly makes you gossy, while avoiding work entirely makes you lazy.
Finally, we have the hostile traits. Wanting what someone else has is being jealous, and acting with hostility or force is being aggressive.
Those exercises where you had to read the situation and assign the correct trait are so powerful for building real fluency.
They really are. But before we move on, let's touch on those occupation and location words. Doctor, hospital, MRI, and computer tomography are quite straightforward.
Right.
But farmer and duties bring us to the difference between a farm and a ranch. And I actually wanted to ask about that.
Oh, sure.
Because in Brazil, we have so many types of rural properties. Can you give us a clear analogy to picture the exact difference between a farm and a ranch in English?
Absolutely. Think of a farm as a giant, diverse garden. A farmer's primary duties involve agriculture and crops. They might grow corn, soybeans, or tomatoes, and maybe have a few chickens.
Okay, so crops and plants mostly.
Yeah. A ranch, on the other hand, is a massive open field focused almost entirely on raising livestock. It is all about animals, especially cattle or horses.
Oh, wow. So a farm is where you grow the vegetables for your lunch, and a ranch is where the horses run.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to look at it.
I can picture that perfectly. All right, we need to take a very quick pause, but do not go anywhere. We have pronunciation traps and a mouth-watering writing exercise coming right up. Commercial break. Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive into the mechanics of pronunciation, I have to share this hilarious story from our reading material.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, it's LRR's 124, titled How to Bake a Cake. It is about a boy named Owen. Owen decides he's going to bake a cake. He gets his bowl out. He meticulously measures and mixes the flour, the sugar, the salt, the eggs, and the milk.
He's doing everything right so far.
Exactly. The batter looks absolutely perfect. He pours it into the pan, puts the pan in the oven, and waits. And waits, but nothing is happening.
Oh, no.
The cake isn't rising. It's just sitting there as liquid batter. He calls his mom over, totally confused. And his mom just looks at the stove and starts laughing.
Let me guess.
Why? Because Owen perfectly prepared everything, but he completely forgot to turn the oven on.
It is such a classic mistake. It happens to the best of us. But it really proves that a perfect recipe means absolutely nothing without the heat to activate it.
Exactly. And just to quickly recap where we were before the break, we mapped out essential kitchen vocabulary, differentiating the mechanics of frying, boiling, and baking.
Right.
We also reviewed medical and agricultural terms and explored a huge spectrum of personality traits, from being supportive to being stubborn.
And now we are ready to heat things up by activating our language with pronunciation practice. Let's look at the words from our past class.
Pronunciation is the heat that makes the language work. Let's read the exact words we need to master. We have nurse, especially, personalities, values, each, naturally compatible, world, expected, humor, heart, unexpectedly, often, cause, equipment.
There are some beautifully complex sounds in there, like the word world is notoriously difficult for Brazilian learners.
I love that way.
Because you have to curl that R deep in your mouth and then immediately land your tongue on the teeth for the L and the D world.
World, it's a workout for your mouth. But I actually want to zero in on the word heart. The spelling there can be so deceptive.
It really can be deceptive. Heart has a very open drop jaw sound. My heart.
Right.
But if you relax your jaw and change that vowel sound just slightly to an R sound, you get the word hurt.
Yes. If you alter the physical shape of that vowel, you completely change a vital organ in your chest into an action of physical pain.
Exactly.
Like, my heart is a lovely thing to say. I hurt is a medical problem. You have to open your mouth wide for heart.
Now, moving to our current class pronunciation, we are tying it right back to our culinary theme. The words are delicious, nutritious, when other, south, heavy, have, coffee, cough, most, must.
Let's look at the mechanics of south and other. These contain that infamous thirth sound, which is one of the hardest things for a Brazilian Portuguese speaker to master.
It really is.
Because that sound physically does not exist in our language.
Right. It requires a completely new physical mechanism. You actually have to stick your tongue out a little bit, place the tip of your tongue right between your upper and lower front teeth, and just push air out. South.
South.
For other, the tongue position is exactly the same, but you vibrate your vocal cords. Other.
I always tell my students, if you don't feel just a tiny bit silly doing it at first, you probably aren't pushing your tongue out far enough. South. Other.
That's a great tip.
Now, oh my goodness, we have to talk about the absolute trap of coffee versus cough. I've literally seen students accidentally order a cough at a bakery.
Oh, wow. It is a highly dangerous trap. Let's explain the phonetics behind it.
Please do.
Coffee, the drink, ends with an elongated, smiling E sound. Coffee.
Right.
But cough, the bodily function, even though it is spelled with a GH, actually ends in a harsh, biting F sound. Cough.
Ah, I see.
So you drink your coffee, but you cover your mouth when you cough. You definitely do not want to order a cough with milk.
No, you do not. But if you can master these sounds, you can start stringing them together into natural thoughts. This is exactly why we transition into our use of language section. Let's look at how we combine these elements.
We have some incredibly common everyday phrases to practice, such as, it depends, it's raining, I like both options, what is your favorite recipe? In the past, I used to go to church. My boyfriend lives in Aguas Claras.
Let's do a lively role play to hear how these flow in a real conversation. I'll set the scene. Wow, look outside, it's raining so much. Do you want to go out to the bakery or just stay inside and make a cake at home?
I like both options. It depends. Do we have ingredients in the pantry, such as flour, sugar, and eggs?
We do. We have everything. What is your favorite recipe?
Well, my boyfriend lives in Aguas Claras, and he makes this incredibly delicious chocolate cake. In the past, I used to go to church with him, and afterward, we would go to his house just to eat that cake.
Amazing. See how naturally those individual sentences fit together into a story.
Yeah, it flows perfectly.
And if you want to step up your fluency even more, we have an idiomatic expression that will make you sound incredibly native. The expression is, once in a blue moon.
This is a beautiful idiom.
Yeah.
A blue moon is an actual astronomical event where you have a second full moon in a single calendar month, but it happens very rarely.
Oh, I didn't know that's where it came from.
Yeah. So when we say something happens once in a blue moon, it means it almost never happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's role play this one too. Tell me, do you ever cook one of those perfectly balanced, incredibly nutritious meals with absolutely no sugar or heavy carbohydrates?
Oh, absolutely. I cook perfectly nutritious food once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
Honestly, usually I am just boiling some pasta and calling it dinner.
Same here. Now, if you want to invite your friends over to eat that rare, nutritious meal or ask them about their own habits, you need to know how to ask them questions.
Right.
How far do they live? How long will it take them to get to your house? This brings us to the core of our grammar section.
We are looking very deeply at WH questions. WHO is used for asking about people. What is for things? When is for time? Where is for location? And how is for manner?
Okay, that makes sense.
But today, we need to focus specifically on two variations, how far for distance and how long for time.
This is a vital structure. Let's start with how far. This is strictly about physical distance between 2 points. In the affirmative, you would say, Unai is 170 kilometers from Brasilia.
Yes. And in the interrogative, to ask the question, how far is Unai from Brasilia?
And the negative, Unai is not far from Brasilia.
Perfect. And then we have how long, which specifically asks about the duration of time an action requires. But explaining this raises a very important point, highlighting a classic, deeply ingrained mistake that many Brazilian students make.
Oh, the I used mistake. I hear this every single week.
Yes, because of how it translates in Portuguese, a student might naturally say, I use 10 minutes to wash the dishes. But in English, we do not use time for a task like a resource we own. We view time as something the task demands from us. So the correct structure is, it takes me
10 minutes to wash the dishes. Let's look at the travel examples from the notes. Affirmative, it takes me 50 minutes to commute from Sobradinho to Taguatinga.
And negative, it doesn't take me an hour.
Interrogative, how long does it take you to get to work? And let's be real, going from Sobradinho to Taguatinga might take 50 minutes at midnight, but in rush hour, it takes an hour and a half.
Exactly. It takes. Burn that phrase into your memory. Now we have our vocabulary, our pronunciation, and our question structures. Let's take all of this knowledge and put it down onto paper.
Yes, it is time for our writing section.
The goal of this writing exercise was to draft a 100 to 140 word cooking blog-style essay.
You had to use very specific chronological linking words like first, then later, after that, finally, along with clear cooking verbs.
And we had the absolute pleasure of reviewing student Sandra Teixeira's drafts.
Sandra put in a truly fantastic effort. In her first draft, she successfully got all her culinary ideas down.
She really did. And then in the second draft, she incorporated the teacher's feedback and the chronological flow improved drastically. She clearly separated each step of the recipe.
Reading her essay made me so incredibly hungry. We want to propose a polished final version of her homemade dish. And Sandra, with your consent, we would love to publish this final version directly on the school's blog at students.AcademiaBSB.com.br blog so you can earn your well-deserved estrelinas.
Here is how the final flowing version sounds. My favorite recipe is homemade spaghetti with tomato sauce. It is simple and very delicious.
Yeah.
First, I boil water in a big pot and add the spaghetti. Then I cook it for about 10 minutes. While the pasta cooks, I prepare the sauce. Next, I cut garlic and onions. Then I heat olive oil in a pan and cook the garlic and onions until soft.
That smells good already.
After that, I add tomato sauce and a pinch of salt. Later, I mix the pasta with the rich sauce. Finally, I serve the spaghetti with fresh cheese grated on top. It is a simple recipe, but it always tastes amazing.
Oh, that sounds so delicious.
Yeah.
Look at how clearly those chronological markers guide the reader. First, then, next, after that, later, finally.
It flows so beautifully.
It flows as smoothly as the olive oil she used. And speaking of smooth progress, let's look at how well the class is absorbing all this material in our class stats.
Group T262, your numbers are phenomenal. As a group and individually, you are perfectly on track to reach the CEFRL B1 level. The data completely backs this up.
I'm especially proud of the pronunciation section. Comparing your past class performance to your current class, the phonetic deviation ratio has dropped an incredible minus 47%.
That is huge.
All that practice putting your tongue between your teeth for the LF sound is really paying off. We also recorded a vocabulary growth of 22 new words today, which brings your comprehensive lexicon repertoire to an impressive 131 words.
That is real, measurable linguistic progress. And just a quick reminder, if you want to review today's grammar concepts and vocabulary in their natural context, please refer back to the reading materials in your bibliography.
Right, that's LARC 124, How to Bake a Cake, and LARC 128, what is your eating choice? Nutritious or delicious food?
Now, looking ahead to next week's mission, in our upcoming class, we are shifting gears entirely.
Ooh, yes! We are moving out of the kitchen and onto the busy streets. The topic is directions, how to get there.
You are going to learn essential navigational phrases like, go straight ahead, turn left at the corner, and it is across from the hospital.
But I want to leave you with a thrilling scenario to think about. What exactly do you say when you are completely lost in a massive foreign city? It is getting dark and your phone battery suddenly dies.
Oh, terrible.
How do you approach a stranger and ask for help? We will answer that exact question in our next deep dive.
That is a high-stakes situation where knowing the exact right words is absolutely essential.
It really is. Now, before we wrap up, it is time for a gamification break.
At Academia BSB, we absolutely love rewarding your hard work.
We do. When you participate in class, finish your homework, and pass your quizzes, you earn points. our famous Estrelinas, right on your online platform user profile.
That's right. Earning these stars helps you climb the student ranking and compete fiercely on the leaderboard. So are you ready to hear today's points?
Drumroll, please.
Estrellas ganas hoje 15.
Yes. Congratulations on that massive achievement. Keep climbing that leaderboard, ladies. You are doing amazing work.
As we close out today's deep dive, we want to leave you with a broader thought about the connection between making food and making language.
Right. Both require immense patience, the right combination of ingredients, and most importantly, the courage to make mistakes.
Like forgetting to turn the oven on.
Exactly. And both are ultimately about sharing a piece of yourself with others. It is about authentic expression. The brilliant American author Maya Angelou, in her powerful 1969 autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Such a great book.
It really is. It is a profound literary testament to finding your own voice after trauma. And she wrote this beautiful line, "Words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning."
That is so incredibly true. Your journey learning English isn't just about reading vocabulary words on a screen or memorizing grammar rules.
No, it's not.
It is about finding your unique human voice to give those words life and emotion.
Yes. You are finding your voice, ladies. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and never forget our school's glorious motto.
It's not only about the language, it's all about communication.
Have a wonderful, delicious day, and keep cooking up those great conversations.